Welcome to the 30 and Nerdy Podcast, brought to you by Advertising Expressions, Creative Theater, Akita Express, and Encore Theatrical Company. Visit us online at 30andnerdypodcast.com. Drop us an email at 30andnerdypod@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Become a patron of the show at patreon.com/30nerdypodcast. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the show. And now, sit back, relax, and get ready to nerd out with your hosts, Josh Davis and Tyler McDaniel.
What's up, nerds and nerdettes? This is the podcast where everyone knows your name.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to ya.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Tyler, and this is 30 and Nerdy. And we are coming at you from the Fortress of Nerditude with yours truly, the registered nerd practitioner, the founder of Nerdledge, the Mac. And always great to be joined by my co-host, the juicy one, the notorious JLD, the PhD of Nerdology, Dr. Davis himself.
Yeah.
What's up, Doc?
Not much, man. Happy to be here.
Me too. Always great to be with you on recording nights.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a fun week, hasn't it?
A very fun and exciting week in our world.
Absolutely. If you're listening for the first time, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you cast your pod. And if you're still listening in with us after all these episodes and you're staying faithful to the show, thank you from the bottom of our nerdy little hearts. And while you're subscribing to us, you can rate us. Yeah. And Emma, what star should they give us?
5 stars.
Isn't that adorable?
Adorable. And if you don't know Emma,
my little nerdling.
That is Josh's daughter, little nerdling, 2 years old and 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks
ago.
Yeah. So, and she's a brilliant little thing.
She's pretty smart,
but she's got brilliant parents. So.
Oh, stop.
Okay, I will. And to those patrons who are helping us through Patreon site, thank you very much. And if you're interested in becoming a Patreon, you can check out any of those links on every episode we post, as well as our social media. We have links to our Patreon page, and you get tons of behind-the-scene news, early views on our season, as well as upcoming months. You can get gifts every month, and tons of little nerdy tidbits that may help you in a contest in the future. So, brother, it's been a fun week, a busy week. We got a lot going on. We got a lot coming up.
Yeah.
For instance, tomorrow we get to sit down with a friend of ours, Zach, and a friend of his, for the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah. If you've been listening for a while, you know that we like to try to do what we can to get the word out for things that we think are important things that help people.
Yes.
So that's a big deal for us, and we want to do what we can. Mm-hmm. So I'm especially, and Tyler is as well, we're big advocates for kids, anything helping kids. So we definitely want to get the word out there about the Boys and Girls Club. So look on Friday, I guess, for...
Friday will be a sit-down interview with Luis, a friend of Zach from Advertising Expressions. We will be actually meeting at Advertising Expressions.
Yeah.
And getting to sit down and just talk to him about what's going on with the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
Also, thanks to everyone who helped us in our fundraising and awareness-raising efforts for Donate Life Tennessee. Everyone who bought a shirt, we were able to donate over $150.
Yes.
To Donate Life Tennessee just by shirt purchases alone.
Yeah.
And that was just fantastic. It was a really cool thing to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And we look forward to whatever the next outreach opportunity for fundraising comes our way, and we will keep you updated.
For those listening who are big fans of Peyton, or who are now big fans of Peyton after the episode, he'll be making his return in the future.
Oh, yes. December's going to be a big month for Peyton.
December's going to be Peyton's
favorite
month in regards to podcast.
This is going to become Peyton's place in December. Peyton's podcast.
Tune in December for sure, and you'll hear from Peyton again.
And also, we've got a big event coming up this next week, LitUp Knoxville.
Wow.
In Market Square in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it is it's about young artists, writers, media kids who are getting into the media and book writing and published. I mean, these are published authors at a young age.
I'm really excited,
and we're going to be in Market Square doing a live show.
Should we go ahead and reveal what our topic's going to be for the show? All right,
especially since it's October.
Yes. All right.
Villains.
Literary
villains. Disney villains. TV villains. Media villains.
Pop culture
villains, especially in literature. We're going to be maybe bringing people up on stage and asking about their favorite.
Could be.
Maybe like if you're a Sherlock Holmes, we'd talk about old M.
Professor Moriarty.
Maybe Voldemort. I said it.
Oh, sorry. You can't say the name.
He who must not be named.
That's better.
Sorry. So we're very excited. If you are in the area, if you can make it, October the 13th. And it's an all-day thing in Market Square and the surrounding area. It's with the library. It's called LitUp Knoxville. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Our good friend Candace is heading it up, and she's doing a bang-up job in marketing it and getting events and people to be a part of it. We're very excited. We can't wait.
Very excited.
And also in November, Marble City. Now,
dude,
I'm so excited. And we went to see the Joker this past week, and literally he said, "I just need 2 minutes in FYE," and I was like, "But the previews, man," because I love the previews.
I do too.
I love knowing what's coming.
This is a big day.
He goes, "I just gotta get the FYE." He had to buy a Blunt Man and Chronic. It's Jay and Silent Bob's characters from Strikes Back and Reboot, and he had to get them so that there's a big possibility, hopefully, that we get to sit down with the legend himself, Kevin Smith, and have him sign them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But as we're leaving the movie, he is, of course, I will give him this. He was in conversation with some friends of ours.
Yeah.
The Coffees.
Yeah.
And he completely walked away with the bag of Pops under his chair still. And Madison, nudged me and pointed it at me, and I looked down, and I was like, shh. And I grabbed it, and for probably 5, 6, 7 minutes, I carried it behind my back, just walking, seeing how far we'd get. We got out of the theater, folks, and to the bathrooms. They parted ways. He went to the restroom, so I just walked into the restroom and was just like, you forgot something.
Look, everybody knows I love Pops.
Yeah.
And I was, Friday was a big release day for, some exclusive Pops.
Yeah.
And, they go fast. So I ran to FYE, and they had a couple of them left, so I got my Jay and Silent Bob. I'm so happy about it. I'm, holding it close to my heart. And then I'm so enamored and excited about the Joker.
Yes.
That I just completely forgot.
So you're already easily distracted.
Yeah.
It's that ADHD.
Yeah.
It's like the dog and Up. It's very bad. So
it happens.
But I did not let you go without.
I know. I saved the day on that one.
I did. Madison was the savior, actually. I wish I could take credit for it. So, last week's episode, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It was fun. Gained a lot of positive reviews on it. I know some of our other fellow podcasters out there in Twitter land and podcast land. They loved it.
Good.
Hearing some good stuff about that. Very appreciative of that. So
I'm sorry I said that Batman would drink Dos Equis.
Yeah. They were like,
I did
would not drink Dos Equis.
I did regret that after I said it. But you know what? I think Bruce Wayne actually would drink Dos Equis.
You think Bruce would?
Yeah, because I think about the guy from the commercial, the fancy dude, the most interesting man in the world, or whatever. Remember that little gimmick they did?
Oh yeah.
That makes me think of Bruce Wayne. Okay. So maybe not Batman, but Bruce Wayne.
All right.
You got to give me that one.
Okay.
At least.
We'll see what Pop Culture Brews has to say about it now.
Do the right thing.
Be kind. So, obviously we talked about Batman last week, and you cannot talk about Batman without the greatest villain of all time, in my opinion. His archenemy, the yang to his yin, or vice versa, however you think of it, the Joker.
Yeah.
So this week we're going to be talking about the clown prince of crime himself, the Joker.
So many different versions of the Joker at this point.
Like, going through these notes, man, like when creating these notes, I was like, I've not seen some of these. Like, I had no idea that some of these people existed.
I have a feeling
voices.
I'm going to learn a lot.
Yeah, even we're going to learn something. It's always fun.
Yeah.
And we will get to that after a word from our sponsor.
All right.
Hello, this is Riff Raff from Encore Theatrical's Rocky Horror Show. I think you'd better come inside and join us for an evening of the Time Warp. Performances are October 18th and 19th, and they are both science fiction double features. For tickets, go to etcplays.org. After all, it's going to be a rather special night.
Hey, all you nerds out there in Nerdland, this is David.
And this is Tim.
And we're from Johnny Has the Keys podcast, a podcast where horror and sci-fi shape our lives.
You're listening to Josh and Tyler of the 30 and Nerdy podcast, where they discuss, debate, and break it down with nerd culture and the nerds that reside there. If you like listening to these guys, consider coming over to the dark side with us on your favorite podcast platform of choice.
Cheers to you, nerds, and don't forget your keys.
And we're back. And that means that it's time for Tyler to talk nerdy to me. What do you got this week, man?
All right, so last week, I talked about the nerdarchy.
Yeah.
The Order of Nerds.
Really confused me.
I know. So, I said that moving forward, I would educate everyone on the 7 levels of the nerdarchy. So, this week we have level 1, recruit. Simple as that.
A recruit. Nerd recruit?
Yes, a recruit.
Nerd recruit?
No, you don't have to combine them on everything.
Okay.
A recruit is someone new to the world of nerd, and the very bottom of the Order of Nerd, or the nerdarchy. They're usually just tag-alongs to a movie or happen to be around when you're watching a show like The Flash. They can be anyone from a sibling, a parent, or even a girlfriend. They may not have lived in the world of nerd or really know about our nerd culture, but, for instance, I'm going to use her as an example. Madison was not really into the nerdy world before we started dating.
Right.
So she started out as a recruit, tagging along to watch, I've got her started, and we're making our way through the MCU's phases.
You got a long way to go, though.
Yes. She went to the Joker with us.
Yeah.
She had already seen the older Batman movies, and she loved The Dark Knight, but she still has a long way to go before she's, what I would call level 2 nerd.
Wow.
But, yeah, you start out as a recruit. Not everyone's born into this, I was born nerdy because Mom liked, nerdy things like Wonder Woman was her favorite, and Batman she loved. So I was raised watching these things already as it is. But not everyone starts out like that. You have a lot of, especially these days, goodness especially these days, when the MCU started thriving, you had non-nerd people tagging along with their nerdy friends to see like Iron Man or the first Avengers, and that hooked them.
Yeah.
Well, you have to start somewhere. So you start as a recruit. Everyone has to start somewhere.
What a time to be a nerd.
Oh, I know. So that's your first level.
It's just, we talk all the time about how when we were kids, like, if you're super, super nerdy and into things like that, it's like,
Well, yeah, I mean...
It's not really super cool, and
it's
now
reversed.
everybody's a nerd.
You don't know about this,
you
weirdo?
You don't know about the things that happen in Endgame? What? Like,
Weirdo.
come on.
Goodness. So, if you know any recruits, it is your job to further enlighten them and educate them. Because after all, you are no nerd if you are not using your nerdledge to further the nerd masses.
This is probably going to make you very proud.
What?
So, David, who I've mentioned a lot on the show, a good friend of mine.
Created our design.
Created our logo. He, almost every time I see him, which is quite a bit, he uses some of the words. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just like every time he does it, I'm just like blown away. It just makes me laugh. So I'm just thinking about David. He's like, yeah, man.
I know some recruits.
There was a whole nerd herd at the Joker the other day. Like, oh, and his students, we have some fans in his class, so shout out to Mr. Nunez's art class. Got some nerdlings in there.
Fans.
I guess they're bigger than nerdlings. They're older than nerdlings.
Yeah,
at this point.
I haven't created a word for teenage nerds yet.
Yeah.
Nerdagers, maybe.
Yeah, something like
I don't
that.
know.
So some of them are fans. They've got some stickers coming to them. So shout out to them.
Sweet.
But anyway,
But yeah, that's your first level.
I love it.
Good. So, moving forward, you will get level 2 next week. And I'm not going to trick you this week, okay? So we can move on to your favorite segment, What You Watching? So, what you watching?
Wow. I don't even know where to
Easy
begin.
question.
So, well, it's not, because I've actually watched a lot of things.
Really?
I'm not going to talk about all of them, I guess. But I've still been doing a little bit of exploring on the DC universe.
Okay.
Watched some of Assault on Arkham, which I hadn't
That's a
seen
good
yet.
one.
It's okay. I'm only about halfway through with it. This isn't really nerdy, but it's certainly pop culture-y. The Masked Singer. Do you know about The Masked Singer?
Yeah.
So it's on Fox.
T-Pain won last year.
He did. He was amazing. So basically, if you don't know about it, they take all these different celebrities. They come up with these new personas. Like this year, we have the Black
Ladybug.
Widow spider and the ladybug and the cheetah and things like that. The skeleton. So they wear suits and masks and stuff. I think this show, the original idea was from Japan. They did some sort of Japanese version of it. And yeah, so this is the second season. Nick Cannon is the host.
Dr. Kim's a judge.
Dr. Kim Jong from
The Hangover.
Dr. Kim, the Hangover.
Dr. Kim,
he was Chow. He's on it. Robin Thicke. I can't remember her name. She's from the Pussycat Dolls. I'll think of it
Nicole?
in a minute. Nicole Scherzinger.
Yeah, Scherzinger.
And Jenny McCarthy. Wahlberg is another judge. So anyway, it's great. It's really impressive to see some of these people perform, because all of them pretty much have been really good. Last season you had a couple who were not strong singers, and you could tell they were going to get voted out really quick. And some of them you could sort of guess who they were.
Do they become unmasked when they're voted out?
Yes. So they take their mask off. There's a big reveal at the end when they get voted off. And then they go back. They show you clues, like they have their own little story, and they give little clues about who they are in real life, and you try to piece all of it together. And the judges try to help with that too. And this season, I can't guess any of them. And 2 or 3 people have been revealed, and I didn't really know who they were. One of them was Muhammad Ali's daughter. She got voted off the other day, and she was really good.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's great.
I like
You should
that
check it
show
out.
because it just proves there's so much unknown talent out there. They were made famous for something else, but little did you know that they could sing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw The Joker.
Oh yeah, did we ever?
Phenomenal movie. So it kind of prompted me to go back and watch other Joker moments. Like, I went back and watched Dark Knight. I went back and watched Batman '89, Suicide Squad, and some different Joker animated moments. Like, I didn't watch all of Mask of Phantasm or all of Red Hood, but just some of his better scenes.
Sure.
And I cannot grasp the places that people go just to play that character. I mean, we know where Heath went. We saw where Joaquin went. We even heard from Jack Nicholson, yes, I did The Shining, and I could tell you that the Joker's up there with playing in The Shining, like how just what the character did to them. And if you go and watch the show I Know That Voice, or the movie I Know That Voice, John DiMaggio talks about his time playing the Joker, and he said, ironically, it put me in a dark hole, like just trying to find that character just to do the voice to it. And I was like, my God, like everyone thinks there's a Superman curse, like I think there'd be a curse of the Joker. But yeah,
It's heavy stuff.
It really is. It's heavy stuff. And of course, episodically watching Titans on DC Universe. And actually went back and watched, what was it? I tried to watch Batman vs. Dracula again. It's just a rough storyline.
Yeah. I haven't even attempted.
Yeah, I couldn't finish it.
I don't think I
so
could do it.
So I can only say I've watched it one time all the way through. Every time I try to go back and watch it, I'm like, this is just not good.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. But yeah, the past 2 weeks we've been watching a lot of DC, which I don't hate.
I actually, for some reason, earlier today, I was just kind of hanging out with Emma, and she wasn't paying attention to the TV, so that meant that Daddy got to use the TV. And
you mean you weren't watching Mickey Mouse?
We were not watching Mickey. Well, we were, but she wasn't paying attention to it, so I changed it. We started watching Justice League. Just felt like it, talking about Batman
the
last
movie?
week. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Wanted to see some Batflick and everything.
Yeah.
I
don't
watched a little bit of
you.
that. Yeah.
All right. Well, I believe it's time for some nerd news.
So excited.
Good. So, this past week, Kevin Smith has let it be known that he is moving forward with Clerks 3.
With the original
with the
cast.
original cast, yes. Yeah. Dante and Randall will be back, which I love the Clerks movies. And I'm sure that he finally decided to do this based off the popularity of Reboot, realizing that, people still want more Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that. Speaking of rebooting, Jared Padalecki, who plays Sam in Supernatural,
right,
is rebooting the show Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? How do you feel about that?
I'm not thrilled with reboots. Especially, I don't know. You associate Walker, Texas Ranger with Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
However, Padalecki's from Texas.
So therefore he's qualified to replace Chuck Norris?
No, I was just talking about he could be a Texas Ranger.
I mean, is there even a big, push for there to be another Walker, Texas Ranger?
There was.
Why is this happening?
I did not think there was.
Well,
I'm not exactly thrilled about it.
I can tell you with total certainty that I'll probably not watch a minute of it. I just have no
Jared
interest in
Padalecki
that.
you don't like.
No, I have no problem with Jared Padalecki. It's the fact that I don't really care anything about Walker, Texas Ranger.
Not anymore.
Not in 2019, and especially not without Chuck Norris.
I would agree.
That's just my
glad that he's got work after Supernatural, but not what I was expecting.
After playing on Supernatural for 23 years.
15. Okay.
Big difference.
So, the Birds of Prey trailer dropped. Did you see it?
I did not.
You haven't watched the Birds of Prey trailer?
No. I did see the poster, though, when we were at the movies the other day to see Joker.
It looks so good.
Really cool.
Ewan McGregor's Roman Sionis, a.k.a. Black Mask, is going to look... His characterization already is totally different than any of the animated stuff we've seen. He's not got a gruff voice. It's more party-like. Dinah Drake's Black Canary is in it, along with some other Birds of Prey members from the comics. But it's very exciting. It's good to see that Harley Quinn's back in the live-action movie, and it's not going to be destroyed by Jared Leto's Joker. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, it is probably something I'll definitely check out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, even if I haven't seen the trailer yet, I can tell you I'll probably want to see it.
Yeah. So moving on, there is a short, by the looks of it, a short, powerful list for Catwoman in the Batman.
Wow.
And it is all being led by women of color, which I love that.
Interesting.
It's 2019. It's okay. Tessa Thompson, a.k.a. Valkyrie in the MCU. Lupita Nyong'o, who is Nakira in the MCU from Black Panther. And Alexandra Shipp, who played Storm in The Dark Phoenix. They are on a short list to play Catwoman in Matt Reeves' The Batman. Thoughts?
Okay, cool.
I think it'd be cool.
Catwoman is not on my list of favorites. I'm sort of indifferent about Catwoman, to be honest with you. So, whatever. I have no preferences here.
Cool. So, speaking of Batman, there was WB Games Montreal, who did the Arkham Origins game, posted a very, very cryptic tweet on Batman Day that followed with another tweet recently with 3 symbols alternating in the background. The symbols are of the Court of Owls, the Order of Saint Dumas, and the Demon's Head, which is Ra's al Ghul. This was the first time that Twitter has been active since 2015. Cryptic tweets from a Batman Arkham creator.
Let's hope
that
this means...
Even if it's not Conroy, at least it's an Arkham storyline.
I'll be happy.
In a Batman game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you talk about the Spider-Man games. They can keep making Batman games, and I'll keep buying them.
Absolutely.
And keep playing them, because they're just so good.
100%. Those Arkham games are top-notch, dude.
Absolutely.
So good. Great stories, fun to play. Like the fighting part of it is a lot of fun. Solving the riddles, the stealth missions where you swing around to the little gargoyles. And you snag the guys and hang them up on the thing.
If anything really gets you in the mind of being Batman, it's those games.
Oh yeah, you feel like Batman.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So let's hope that they give us one, because the people want it. Give it to us.
Absolutely. If the people want it, you have to give it to us, or else we'll start burning things down.
Supply and demand, baby.
So, moving forward, we have had a lot of things in the world of wrestling happening lately.
Huge week for professional wrestling fans, man. So, we've known for a while now that WWE's SmackDown show, which has been on Tuesdays on USA, that was picked up by Fox. That was a $1 billion deal that went down, I guess, earlier this year. So, they premiered SmackDown on Fox this past week. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson showed up. I think there were a few others. I didn't see the whole thing yet. I just saw bits and pieces. But it was huge. Lots of UFC superstar appearances. So that was something.
Well,
also,
Brock Lesnar came back.
Yeah.
Took the title off of Kofi in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then we won't see Brock until the Rumble. So
ridiculous.
Tired of him.
But beyond that, there was the season premiere of Monday Night Raw in USA, the flagship show of the WWE. They had an all-new set, all-new announce team, all-new everything, different feel. Pyro, which we hadn't had in a few years because they were trying to save money. I think it definitely took away from the feel of the show.
Yeah. Or else you could call it Monday Night Rollins, because your boy is
the champ.
Yeah. And we got to see, Brock showed up there too and destroyed Rey Mysterio and his son.
Yeah.
I hate Brock Lesnar.
I do too.
And then they moved NXT to Wednesdays to compete with AEW.
Wednesday Night Dynamite. So we've talked before about, in wrestling in the 90s, we had the Monday Night Wars on
Wednesday Night Wars now.
Now we have the Wednesday Night Wars between WWE's NXT brand and AEW. Now, I don't know who had the most ratings or whatever, but I watched a lot of the AEW show. I haven't seen anything from NXT yet, but I hear it was very good.
What they're doing is only 1 hour of NXT is going to be live on Wednesday nights. Then the second hour is streaming on their network.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing was on USA. Wow.
1 hour on USA, and then there'll be like a tune in, to continue watching on WWE Network for $9.99 a month.
That's smart.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have been pretty fed up lately with a lot of WWE stuff, so I did watch AEW. I did not get to watch it live. I went back and watched it. I'm excited for it. It feels like wrestling.
It does.
Like 90s war wrestling.
Yeah.
Where the stories are in the ring.
It didn't feel quite so hokey, I guess.
Campy.
And as some of the WWE stuff.
Campy.
Just like, oh, look, here's our top guy, and he's going to do a 20-minute interview in the ring, and there's going to be all kinds of people interrupt him. And
he's going to do one finisher to everybody who interrupts him.
Yeah, so it felt different in that regard.
And there's going to be a ridiculous backstage segment.
Yeah, I didn't see any backstage stuff with AEW.
It's all taken care of in the ring.
Much, yeah. Love it.
So with this premiere week, we got news of a new Fox host for SmackDown.
Oh, yeah.
Your boy is coming back to the world of wrestling.
Well, I wouldn't call him my boy. CM Punk.
CM Punk is going to be commentating for Fox. It's not a WWE deal.
Yeah.
It's a Fox deal.
It's kind of weird how that worked out.
For Fox on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So technically he's a Fox employee commenting for WWE. I guess that's
kind of weird.
The loophole of having Punk back, but he technically didn't sign with the WWE.
Yeah, if you're listening and you don't know who CM Punk is a very well-known professional wrestler, very, very popular. He was very successful for a long time. He had all sorts of grievances with the WWE.
No filter.
He left pretty abruptly, which, as a fan, I had some issues with regarding the way he departed. And a few of the reasons. Some of it I definitely understand, but that's a discussion for another time.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see him in this capacity, yeah.
Because he's not a dumb guy.
Right.
He's smart. So, any other wrestling news?
I think that's about it.
Quite a bit. Exciting week for the wrestling world. So, last piece of news, and it kind of transitions us into what we're talking about. And I wanted our breakdown to be less serious, so I thought, why so serious? So, I thought I would put this in the news.
Okay.
And we could maybe discuss it just a little bit.
Yeah.
The Aurora Theater, that was the scene of the 2012 Joker shooting, is not showing the movie. After reopening under a new name recently, they moved to not show it pretty unanimously as a town.
Yeah.
I have mixed thoughts about this.
Really?
I understand why not. I could not imagine what my decision would be if I were there or even a part of that town or kin to the shooter or the people who got shot. You never really imagine what something will be like unless you've lived it. However, I feel like not showing it, he wins. And the arguments against our loved movies win when a decision like that is made. I feel like it's been 7 years, and he continues to win the more they tiptoe around the Joker. I literally cannot tell you that I stand on a certain stance. I'm literally on the fence on this.
I get what you're saying. I
have
do.
opinions on both sides.
But I think they made the right choice.
I do. I think in good taste they made the right choice. I just think that doing all this and it being in the news brought it all back to life.
Well, I think it's just that some people might make the argument that this movie glorifies the character of the Joker. I mean, the movie's named The Joker. Yeah. I mean, the movie is about him. He's the central character. Yeah. There's not a single scene that he's not in, which if you really think about it, that doesn't happen that much.
It's the first time that the Joker's gotten a solo film.
So, in that regard, I think right choice.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying as well. I do. I just don't know that everyone there would think of it that way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like I said, I do solely also stand on I cannot make a judgment on it because I didn't live it.
And that's fair.
So, I have opinions on both sides of the spectrum.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I thought that was interesting that it, So, that is the end of your nerd news.
I'm so glad that you finally showed up with our dinner because I am starving. What did you bring me?
Well, I brought Akita again.
Of course.
Because it's our favorite place to
I can't
eat.
be mad at that.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you order this time?
You know, every time I say I'm going to try something new, I always show back up with my regular chicken teriyaki.
I understand.
White rice. No vegetables. No vegetables, I know. Could have had a V8. And it's my favorite, man.
And it looks like you brought me my favorite, which is the shrimp and chicken combo. No broccoli, extra mushrooms with extra shrimp sauce. Best shrimp sauce in town.
In the state.
For sure.
I'm telling you, there is no comparison on this shrimp sauce. And we are going to try not to mutter through this episode while eating at the same time. We don't want, that's just unprofessional.
Right.
So, listen, we love this food. It's Akita Express. It's right here in Morristown, Tennessee. We highly recommend this place. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I've never heard an unkind word about Akita. So please give them a try. They are right here in Morristown, Tennessee at 3100 East Morse Boulevard. And please, when you stop by, tell them 30 and Nerdy sent you. All right. Now, I believe it's that time, brother.
Time once again for us to on the Joker.
The Joker. Now, if you were in the very minute statistic of people who don't know who the Joker is, I find that impossible, first of all. The Joker is a supervillain created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane and Jerry Robinson, who first appeared in the debut issue of the comic book Batman, April 25th, 1940. Published by DC Comics. Credit for the Joker's creation is disputed. Kane and Robinson claim responsibility for the Joker's design while acknowledging Finger's writing contribution. Although the Joker was planned to be killed off during his first initial appearance, he was spared by editorial intervention, allowing the character to endure as the archenemy of the superhero Batman.
I'm learning things already.
Killed off in the first issue. Could you imagine
how
the world
different
without the Joker?
Would the DC universe have been without the Joker? I guess they could always bring him back, but still.
Yeah, but I think if you don't spare him, if you don't give him that opportunity to become the archenemy, who is then Batman's archenemy in your mind?
If it wasn't Joker?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's hard to think about.
Penguin?
Maybe Penguin?
I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Or Roz.
Perhaps.
Maybe. If
maybe Riddler.
The Joker. Yeah, that's crazy. In his comic book appearances, the Joker is portrayed as a criminal mastermind, introduced as a psychopath with a warped, sadistic sense of humor. The character became a goofy prankster in the late 1950s in response to regulation by the Comics Code Authority, before returning to his darker roots during the early 70s. As Batman's nemesis, the Joker has been part of the superhero's defining stories, including the murder of Jason Todd, the second Robin and Batman's ward, and the paralysis of one of Batman's allies, Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. The Joker has had various possible origin stories during his decades of appearances. The most common story involves him falling into a tank of chemical waste which bleaches his skin white and turns his hair green and lips bright red. This resulting disfigurement drives him insane. The antithesis of Batman in personality and appearance, the Joker is considered by critics to be his perfect adversary.
He definitely is the perfect adversary, and I love the struggle between Joker and Batman because, you know, Joker knows that he can pretty much do anything, and Batman is not going to kill him. I mean, it's like he's trying everything he can to get him to break that rule.
Yeah. And there's so many different moments, whether it be in live action or animated, where he's like, you won't kill me and I won't kill you. You know, this is just what we'll die doing. We're destined to do this forever. I think we'll always be doing this. And just pushing him to break that one rule, and the steadfastness of Batman to not kill him, especially after paralyzing Batgirl, killing Jason Todd, and when you find out Jason Todd is alive and under the Red Hood, and he's like, why did he took me from you, and he's like, no, you don't understand. It'd be way too easy to kill him. I mean, look at him. It'd be way too easy to kill him. I think that despite the evil that he's done, I think there's so many times where Batman still thinks he can be saved for some reason, even though he's the biggest maniac that Gotham has.
He feels like he has to try no matter what.
Yeah. That's why he keeps taking him back to Arkham.
But it's never going to happen.
Never going to happen. They did recently, was it a year ago, they released The White Knight where he's cured? That was...
I haven't read it yet.
I haven't either. Could never bring myself to read it because I was like,
I've got it. It's sitting on my nightstand by the bed, but I haven't read it yet. I will.
It's an interesting take. Moving on. The Joker possesses no superhuman abilities, instead using his expertise in chemical engineering to develop poisonous or lethal concoctions and thematic weaponry, including razor-tipped playing cards, deadly joy buzzards, and acid-spraying lapel flowers. The Joker sometimes works with other Gotham City supervillains, such as the Penguin and Two-Face, in groups like the Injustice Gang and the Injustice League. But these relationships often collapse due to the Joker's desire for unbridled chaos. The 1990s introduced a romantic interest for the Joker in his former psychiatrist Harley Quinn, who becomes his villainous sidekick. Although his primary obsession is Batman, the Joker has also fought other heroes, including Superman and Wonder Woman.
Do you remember the time Superman punched a hole right through Joker's gut?
That was the Injustice storyline, because the Joker tricked them all, and Lois Lane wound up getting killed in it, and that set Superman off.
Didn't he set off a huge bomb
killed
or
Metropolis?
Something? Yeah.
Most of 98% of Metropolis was killed in that explosion.
Yeah.
And Lois Lane is one of them, which drives Clark insane. So he just shows up in the room where Batman has him detained, just walks up, boom, punches a hole right through him, killing the Joker. And that starts the Civil War of the DC universe, basically, which spawned 2 games, Injustice, 2 video games. Yeah, you haven't played Injustice?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Gods Among Us and the sequel. I have the sequel. I didn't play the first one very much, but it's pretty cool. It's Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, I've played them both.
And Superman and Wonder Woman have this very hierarchy form of mentality, and they are the rulers, basically, of this new world. And Batman and all of his friends, like Harley Quinn, is on Batman's side. Oliver Queen, Black Canary, Poison Ivy. This is literally a time where heroes and villains come together, depending on what side you're on.
Right.
So it's a really cool storyline. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I've not seen him fight Wonder Woman in anything.
I haven't either.
Of course, I didn't read a lot of solo Wonder Woman. But the introduction of Harley Quinn, Dr. Harleen Quinzel.
She originated from the animated series, if I'm remembering correctly, right?
Yes, she was not written into the comics till after the animated series, which is cool. It's kind of like if they were to start writing Walking Dead again, bringing Daryl into it, because Daryl's a show original.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he has had quite the partnerships, and they never, especially whenever he tries to partner with Lex Luthor. Lex is always so chagrin about it, just like, oh God, the clown. He's like, come on, Lex, we work well together. He's like, no, we don't. You always try to blow something up I don't want blown up, and Injustice Gang and the Injustice League, it always falls apart just because of the Joker. He's like, we'll start this team thing, and then halfway through it, he's like, ooh, let's blow this up. Even if our partners are in it.
Yeah.
Like, you've got 5 seconds to get out. Good luck.
I wouldn't want it any other way, though.
Oh, no. He is not a tag team partner. Moving on. One of the most iconic characters in popular culture, the Joker has been listed among the greatest comic book villains and fictional characters ever created. The character's popularity has seen him appear on a variety of merchandise, such as clothing and collectible items, inspire real-world structures such as theme park attractions, and be referenced in a number of media. The Joker has been adapted to serve as Batman's adversary in live-action, animated, and video game incarnations, which we will now dive into. And this is a heck of a list.
Wow.
So, these are the men behind the smile. So, craziest thing is that there is a much smaller list of live-action portrayals of the Joker than the animated and video game portrayals. So, let's get this started. Cesar Romero, the classic clown of the Silver and Golden Age. Romero was more of a harmless grifter with a clown fetish than a true menace to Gotham City. In the TV show and spin-off movie, Romero was known for his childish clown pranks, his poison flower, his high-pitched laugh. He even was able to keep his Latin lover iconic mustache while painted up, saying, "No amount of cackling will make me get rid of my look."
Wow.
So he never had to shave the mustache. They just thickly painted over it.
It's a pretty iconic version of the Joker.
Ran around with Adam West's Batman.
Yeah.
And Eartha Kitt's Catwoman. So he started the live-action portrayal of the Joker.
All right, next we have Jack Nicholson, the mobster showman. Nicholson was the Joker for Tim Burton's dark reimagining of the Batman mythos. Jack Nicholson beat out Brad Dourif, Tim Curry, David Bowie, Willem Dafoe, and even Robin Williams to play the Joker. Robin Williams was used by Burton as a bargaining chip to get Nicholson to bring his asking price down to $6 million, which in 1989 is quite
That's
a big payday.
Chunk of change. I mean, bring it down. So what do you think it was originally? Like, all right, do it. I'll do it for 12, 10. I'll do it for 10 million. Well, Robin Williams said he'd do it for. Like, okay, well, I want the part. So
Robin Williams would have been really interesting.
He really would have been an interesting Joker. I think could Robin have played the mobster Joker that Nicholson played?
I think it would have been totally different.
It would have been totally different. It'd have been more of like a Romero.
I think so.
The clown.
But he would have made it his own for sure.
Oh, yeah. And it would have been intriguing. I would have loved to have seen how creepy Tim Curry and Brad Dourif could have been as the Joker.
Tim Curry, he was going to play the Joker in the animated series before Mark Hamill. And I haven't seen or heard any of it before that I can recall. But I heard Kevin Conroy talk about how it was so dark and so scary that they said, we can't put this on a kid's show.
Cartoon.
So they had to let him go because he was too good.
That was scaring, just being an
Yeah. Well, he was Pennywise after all.
True.
So.
That would have been intriguing. Gosh, it would have been cool to see Dourif and Tim Curry. David Bowie would have been odd.
Yeah,
Willem Dafoe, I still say, could play an older Joker.
He could. He's got that strange look
smile
about him,
Moving on. Heath Ledger, the anarchist.
Love him.
What Ledger did transcended a genre, or even the character as we know it. He truly immortalized the part. Ledger, who was in talks for Batman and Batman Begins, beat out Adrian Brody as well as Robin Williams again for Joker. Heath was 28 years old when he played the Joker, and he used white pancake powder as the main base of his makeup. Ledger admitted that he drew from Clockwork Orange, Sid Vicious, and Tom Waits. He also locked himself up in a hotel room for a month writing his Joker diaries.
And then sadly passed away soon after.
Soon after that.
So you can go, and I suggest everyone do this. Go on YouTube and type in Tom Waits interview. I don't know what it was. He went on some talk show, and he is just a mess. He's probably been into some sort of
drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there in his chair with his legs crossed, and the talk show host has somebody come out to do something, and Tom Waits is like, "Oh wow, you got people working for you and everything. Wow, that's crazy." Yeah. And it's
go
like,
back and watch, like you're like, oh my gosh,
this is the Joker.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty clear who Heath drew it from. The Clockwork Orange stuff I can also see. The way he kind of walks and carried himself, especially in that opening bank robbery. If you go back and watch Clockwork Orange, he emulates a lot of their positions and standing. Moving on.
All right, so how did I get stuck with this one?
I know.
Jared Leto, the thug. Leto's take on the Joker was basically candy-colored nihilism, masquerading in a superhero movie. Leto was even more method than Heath. He would send his castmates very dark and perverse gifts that would make them treat him like the bad guy he is. He did bring a shark circling his prey vibe in his scenes when he delivered lines. This is definitely a lot of people's least favorite version, and I would say I am in that boat as well.
Absolutely. The teeth, the tattoos,
I did
the
not
very
like
Post
it.
Malone look. And it says in there that it was basically candy-colored nihilism. Nihilism is the rejection of all religious and moral principles and the belief that life is meaningless.
Okay, I would say that most versions of the Joker would fall into that,
I think
though,
they
wouldn't
would
you?
all fall into nihilism, but he is definitely I think he's more angry. Maybe that's why I didn't like it, is he did the swaying and the laughing and the cutting up from time to time, and he might have had a creepy laugh, but his was anger. It wasn't chaos. It wasn't just for the heck of it. I truly felt like he was okay. When in the 90s, in the early 2000s, every time Eminem would drop an album in an interview, anybody who was interviewing would always look at him and say, "Why are you so angry?" Like I would want to look at his thug Joker and just go, "Why are you angry, dude? Like, you're not even fun to watch as the Joker. You're just angry." And the tattoos all over the face, and I get what they were going with.
Yeah.
I understand why that rendition of the Joker was chosen for the more modern era of
Well, you got to change things up.
crime. And you do, because it's like you've said a lot on this show, if you don't evolve, you die. And the character is immortalized for a reason, because things keep changing with him, but I just don't think it landed.
It wasn't. Yeah, it didn't work.
And I'll talk to people, though, and they've loved it.
Well, it didn't really get enough to love, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I didn't get so much that I was like, oh, I absolutely hate this, but I was just like, I just don't.
Could have done
I
without
don't.
it.
Yeah.
I think he takes more away from the movie than he added.
I would probably agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on. Cameron Monaghan, The Psychopathic Origin. Cameron played both Jerome and twin Jeremiah Valeska. Both became the Joker in their own right. The slow evolution of his Joker was the best art Gotham had. Though they could not use the name Joker due to Leto and Joaquin in the midst of being Jokers, he played it better than Leto. Probably one of the best incarnations we've seen in years.
Yeah, absolutely. We've spoken many times about Gotham on the show and how we were sort of underwhelmed with it for the most part.
First couple of seasons.
But the episode when we got this character, this version of the Joker, we didn't realize until toward the end what they were doing with it. And I remember us talking about it, how we were super excited, like, this kid is really good, he's going to be a great Joker if we ever get him back. And they toyed with us, because he came back and they killed him. You remember that?
He died more than... Or he was arrested and then he came back for season 2, killed in season 2, came back, he was resurrected in season 3, went on a rampage as Jerome Valeska. Different reincarnation from the first Joker-esque we saw. Killed again. or not killed again, carved his face off. Remember that?
Yeah, he did that while he was
Staple
going on his
thing.
rampage.
Yeah.
But he fell off of a cliff or
Then
something.
he fell off a building.
Yeah.
Gordon was confronting him, and he fell off a building. And we had just met his twin, the sweet, innocent Jeremiah Velis.
And he opened like a box or something and got
like
sprayed.
A parting gift, and it sprayed him with the Joker spray. And his Joker was more Nicholson at first. Gangster, brim hat, calm, collective at first. Laughed, but just talked normal. He wasn't as erratic, and he was more calm until driven to kill. And then it all ended, like, then he gets destroyed and beaten the crap out of and goes through the ringer and is left, until the finale is left in this catatonic state. And then when you find out that he's been playing this game this entire time for 10 years, just waiting.
That's such a Joker thing to do.
Because he'd just be like, well, Bruce isn't here, so who am I going to mess with? So I'll just rest, you know. And he looked like something that crawled out of the dungeon in his final rendition of the Joker, all messed up and hunched over kind of, and had it, most of his hair was gone. And but Monahan's, it was so good.
One of the best parts of the show, absolutely.
Probably the
100%.
best part of the show, in all honesty.
Yeah, I like the Riddler.
Oh yeah, he's
whole
great
lot.
too. The Riddler's great. Moving on.
All right, so we have the newest version of the Joker, Mr. Joaquin Phoenix, Society's Failure version of the Joker. Phoenix stars in a deconstructionist piece set in the early 1980s instead of 2019. Returning to the amateurish appearance of self-applied makeup used by Ledger, there's something even more insidious in Phoenix's countenance that just as much resembles serial killer John Wayne Gacy as it does the comic book character. Phoenix has truly changed the game on the character. His Joker is the failure of society on mental illness. Man, we just saw the movie Friday night. It was amazing. We're not going to spoil anything for you now.
Not yet. Give you a couple weeks.
Yeah, well, we'll talk more in detail about the Joker later. But so far, very successful. Most people are really loving it.
I think it was game-changing. It was brilliant, thought-provoking, uncomfortable in all the right ways.
Yeah.
Not uncomfortable like Hellraiser or Human Centipede or that kind of uncomfortable, but gut-wrenchingly sad.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable. And I saw this, and I don't want to take full credit for it. Our friends over at For Your Reference Podcast, KT, she tweeted this, and it's brilliant. Most films strike a balance of highs and lows, but Joker sat in its pain without any levity, allowing us to see from his eyes the development into the Joker. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I thought a lot as we were watching, and we talked a little bit afterwards as well, but like, you totally sympathize with the Joker throughout this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you pretty much would have to in a movie about the Joker called The Joker, but
you don't sympathize with what he does at the end, but you sympathize with, and the reason I put it as society's failure is they did fail him. He was getting medication and getting to talk to a therapist every week. Then the funding gets cut. And it kind of opens your eyes to there are people out there every day that are living Arthur's life.
Yep.
And we're cutting their funding. I mean, every year something new gets cut that helps mental illness. And that's where they failed Arthur.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think this kind of opens the door of you have to be careful because you can create a Joker.
I think
in
they definitely were trying to send a message with a lot of the elements of the movie like that.
And it was seen well and not overdone.
And I mentioned earlier in the show today about how Joker is in literally every scene of the movie. There are some movies where, like, let's say Venom, and I've made a lot of comparisons to Venom for some reason off the air, but in Venom is the main character, but you don't see him in every scene. You see what's going on with the antagonists of the movie, the people in the labs, and all that stuff. There's none of that in this. It is his perspective, start to finish.
Yeah.
You never are away from him.
But the problem that you had with Venom, and I'm not going to spoil anything, they did not make that mistake with this movie. There is a connection.
Yes.
To the universe.
Yes.
And it's done very well.
Very subtly,
Very
I would
subtly,
say.
very well, and not all about
And
that
look,
connection.
this is not a superhero movie.
No.
It's not even really a supervillain movie. It's
No.
just like, this is something that anyone with practically no knowledge of Batman or superheroes or anything could see this and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And learn.
Mm-hmm.
And feel from it. You do not have to be a nerd to feel this movie. Because you may know people
Yeah.
that are suffering like this.
So I think that it's safe to say that from these nerds to you nerds, we give it like a 10 out of 10.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And if you haven't seen it yet, go see it. I'm anxious to see it again. I'd like to see it again. It was that good. You know, I know that a movie has had an effect on me, impacted me, or what have you, when I leave immediately wanting to see it again. And I think about it, for
days after.
Yeah, I think a lot about it and
Try to
certain scenes
dissect
that
it,
stick
yeah.
out. Yeah. So that doesn't always happen, And
Sometimes we leave a movie happy with what we've seen, don't have to see it again. We're done.
I was telling you, like, the last time that I left a movie feeling really excited was Far From Home. And, like, Far From Home was great, but I would not have left feeling that way if it hadn't been for the big surprise mid-credits, post-credits scene,
And this kind of excitement wasn't a what's next. There is no Joker 2. There
shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be. This movie gives you an excitement of, wow, if they can change the game with the character of the Joker like this, then they can do it for other nerd world culture. So
Totally agree.
Todd Phillips, great job,
Bravo.
man. I mean, bravo.
And I was joking. I was like, after this, I could probably name my firstborn son Joaquin because
his performance.
it was so good, so impressive. And plus, he played Johnny Cash years ago, which is a big deal to me.
Yeah.
So I love Joaquin
Johnny
Phoenix.
and the Joker. Wow. What a career. So those are your live action renditions of the Joker. Not as many as animated, but they have all made impacts
Absolutely.
in our nerd culture in more ways than one, and in their own little ways.
Well, what a fraternity they have.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the voices behind the laugh.
You might say that's the laugh of our Joker.
Our Joker.
Joker from our childhood.
The living legend. So there is a list, and we're going to, get through this pretty quickly, of basically 19 different people have voiced the Joker in some form of animation, whether it be animated movies, animated television, or video games. So, The Adventures of Batman, 1968, voiced by Larry Storch. He was... Never heard of him.
Nope.
The New Adventures of Batman, 1977, voiced by Lenny Weinrib. The Superpowers Team, Galactic Guardians, 1985, voiced by Frank Welker.
Okay.
I actually saw that, and that even for the first time, and I think the only time, has shown Joker and Darkseid partnered up. And even Darkseid was like, this guy is crazy.
They did that in 1985?
1985.
Wow.
Moving on, The New Batman Adventure, 1997, Michael McKean. He's actually a pretty well-known actor.
So that wasn't... Mark Hamill didn't do Joker in
No, he
that?
did, but Hamill has his own list down the line. We'll get to that. Number 5, Batman Dark Tomorrow. Alan Enlow. That was 2003. Some of these I've never seen, man.
Me neither.
The Batman, 2004 through 2008, voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson.
Not my favorite.
It was like a monstrous reincarnation. Like he was like a acrobatic martial artist, hunched over, looked a lot like I don't know, Quasimodo.
Yeah.
Kind of. And this is actually, fun fact, the first time that an African American voiced the Joker.
Cool.
The only time, actually. Moving on, Batman the Brave and the Bold, 2008 through 2012. Now, 2 people voiced during this, Jeff Bennett and Corey Burnton. I guess Jeff was either fired or left the show, so they brought in Corey. Batman Black and White. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's odd. It's very odd.
Is it on the DC thing?
I have not checked. It's where the famous dancing meme with Harley and Joker comes from.
Okay.
The gif of them in black and white dancing.
Okay.
Before they did the scene in Suicide Squad, the flashback. That was the first dancing. And that was Michael Dobson in 2008. Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, 2009 video game voiced by Richard Epcar. And moving on, did you play that?
I did a little bit.
I did not play that. I haven't
I don't
played Mortal
remember
Kombat
much
in
about it.
years. DC Super Friends, 2010, voiced by John Kassir. Batman Under the Red Hood, your favorite animated film.
Yeah.
2010, voiced by John DiMaggio.
Yeah, and you can tell that's him.
Yes, who is Bender
Yeah.
in Futurama.
And he's Jake the dog on Adventure Time.
Yes, he is Jake the dog. He's a pretty well-renowned voice actor these days. I didn't hate his Joker. It was just very deep, very odd. Young Justice, Season 1. Yes, 2010 through 2011. Brent Spiner.
Wow.
Data from Star Trek. The Scientist in Independence Day.
Wow. I haven't gotten to
You haven't
Joker
got
and
to him?
Young Justice
The
yet.
Injustice. He's like, this episode is brought to you by your Injustice League. And
Wow.
it's really cool.
He's in Season 1?
Yeah, you'll
Okay.
run into him.
Okay.
Lego Batman 1, 2, and 3, the video games. This is 2008, 2012, and 2014, all voiced by Christopher Corey Smith. Did you play them?
I did, and this was, I think, the point when they did not do voices on the Lego games.
Noises?
Yeah, they just kind of went, yeah.
Weird.
At some point that changed, so I don't know which ones would have that. But the first one that I remember them ever doing that with was The Lord of the Rings, so
Yes.
it's been a while.
Moving on, The Dark Knight Returns. Now, this was a 2-part animated movie.
Right.
2012, voiced by Michael Emerson, and he is actually a pretty well-renowned actor. You might know him from Constantine. He's the bug-loving guy who,
Okay.
in the Keanu Reeves movie Constantine. Injustice: Gods Among Us, 2013 video game voiced by Richard Epcar again, who did Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. And one of my favorites moving forward, 2 in a row, Batman Arkham Origins, the video game in 2013, and Assault on Arkham, the movie in 2014, were both voiced by Troy Baker.
Yeah.
He also, he might be my second favorite, definitely, under Hamill.
I think I could agree
His
with
is the
that.
closest to Hamill. You can tell that he drew a lot from Hamill.
Yes. I've seen a video from him at, I guess it was like ComiCon or something one year. He read that whole speech that Joker does in The Killing Joke about one bad day.
Yeah.
Someone
Does
just,
it as his Joker.
yeah, someone gave him that and asked him to read it. This might have been before the game came out.
Really?
So we hadn't heard it before.
Yeah.
I think it was like a little teaser of it.
Oh, that's cool. And finally, the Lego Batman movie, voiced by Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, a little
2017.
a lighter tone to the Joker.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell it's Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
And I did not purposely leave out Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill gets his own section here. And since you're a huge Hamill fan, and actually, fun fact, if you take away the M and the ILL in his name spells Arkham. Did you know that?
I do now.
Yeah.
I never thought about
It's
that
like
before.
it was meant to be. Why don't you read off Mark Hamill's Joker?
Right. So we first got Mark Hamill as the Joker in the Batman animated series from 1992 to 1997. This is the Joker that you and I grew up with, the one we know and love. And I've heard Mark Hamill talk about this before, that when he went in and auditioned for this part, he didn't expect that he was going to get it. and he just sort of, did his thing there, and they called him and offered him the part, and he was so shocked, and he said, "Man, I don't even remember what I did. Can I listen to what I did?" So he was like totally unprepared, I guess, but they certainly got what they wanted out of him because it worked out really well.
The first episode you see his Joker in the animated series is a Christmas episode.
That's right.
It's the season premiere. It's a Christmas episode where he's singing "Jingle Bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg."
I remember
doing that whole thing.
Then we had the Batman Mask of the Phantasm special. That was sort of like a spin-off movie from the animated series, so he was in that. Superman animated series from 1996 to 2000. The New Adventures of Batman from 1997 to 1999.
You see a lot of these overlap. Like, he was Joker in multiple things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
once they find somebody, they sort of stick with them.
Yeah.
Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. That was the Terry. What's his last name? Do you remember? Yeah, from Batman Beyond. The futuristic Batman. Static Shock. I used to love that show as a kid. Justice League Unlimited, the Batman Arkham games, except for Arkham Origins. So he did 3 of those. Do you remember in Arkham Knight, it was the last game they did, there's this part where you're swinging through the city or whatever, and at one point in the game, when you climb up to the top of a building...
He scares you.
Well, the reason he does it is because Man-Bat was there earlier, and he kind of jumps over the side of the building, goes, and kind of screams at you, and it startles me every time. Well, then Joker is sort of like in Batman's head throughout the game, and he does it again. He's kind of imitating Man-Bat.
Yeah.
And every single time, I don't know what's coming, and it gets me. He did...
He does it on the DC Universe,
the DC Universe Online. He did the Arkham VR game. He did the Killing Joke, which we've talked about before. Lego DC Villains video game, Justice League Action, Scooby-Doo Guess Who, and he's done the voice of the Joker on Robot Chicken on and off since 2005. Wow, Mark Hamill.
The Joker.
The Joker.
The Joker.
Animated Joker, period.
Period. No argument whatsoever. I had actually never played the VR game.
I haven't either. I don't have a VR device or whatever you need to do such things.
And that Scooby-Doo Guess Who is a new movie that came out this year. New animated movie.
Oh, that's right.
I think they brought Batman and Robin back. I don't know who's voicing them. The Batman and Robin, it didn't pop up, but he's voicing the Joker in it. Or maybe it's just the Joker that's in it. Maybe he helps them solve a clue.
I doubt that for some reason.
That's all the animated Jokers. Like we said, long list. Almost 20 different people in our lifetime and before created this character and voiced this character and brought this character to life. It shocked me, honestly.
Yeah, I had no idea there were so many.
Yeah, pretty cool. So I looked up some fun house facts about the Joker.
I like that.
If you will. And there are 15 unknown facts about Mr. J.
All right, enlighten us.
All right. Renowned as Batman's greatest enemy, the Joker is known by a number of nicknames, including, everyone knows the Clown Prince of Crime. There's also the Harlequin of Hate, the Ace of Knaves, and the Jester of Genocide.
I hadn't heard of any of those except Clown Prince.
I've heard of the Ace of Knaves. That came not too long ago because he was known for knives, being good with knives and all that. And he used to call himself the Ace of Knaves and playing off the word knife. Number 2, World Cat, which is a catalog site online, puts the Joker being in over 250 productions from film, animation, and video games and books.
Wow.
Popular guy. Number 3, Mark Hamill once did an episode of Justice League Action where he played the Joker, the Trickster, Swamp Thing, and himself all in one scene.
I think I have seen that little bit before.
Online a while back.
Wow.
That's crazy. Moving on. When the storyline of the Vat of Acid is not his mythos, he does his own makeup. and there's been a few comics where they don't have that storyline, and he's bragged about it.
Or you don't know the origin because he changes his mind about what his origin is.
I love that part about Heath Ledger. His story changes every time. Because maybe he doesn't know. Moving on. Number 5. He was once merged with Marvel's Sabretooth in the crossover comic event to take on Darkclaw, who was Batman and Wolverine merged.
Interesting.
Shortly after the death of Superman hit, Marvel and DC came together and did some crossover storylines.
Right.
Where they met. Where characters met. It was weird. You should go back and check them out. Very odd. Number 6. In Injustice Gods Among Us storyline, Joker had a daughter with Harley Quinn, who she hid from him with her sister.
Wow. So I did not catch that when I... Is this the game or the comics?
The game's based off the comic book story.
Yeah, so I did not know that part. But there's a little Easter egg in Arkham City, the game, where you can go into the Joker's hideout like after you've beaten everything in the game. And there's a crib in there and a pregnancy test.
Ooh.
And there's a little thing in the credits where Harley is like singing, "Hush little baby, don't say a word, blah, 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 blah."
Oh.
So, there you go.
That's cool. That's cool. Number 7. In Dark Knight's Metal, Batman finally kills Joker.
What?
After his death, his body begins to release a gas that infects Batman, causing him to lose his mind and kill everyone in Gotham.
Oh, I don't like that.
That's a wild storyline.
Explain yourself, DC.
But it's so Joker, though.
I guess.
Like, he still wins. Number 8. During DC Rebirth, Batman sat on the Morbius chair. When he got to ask the all-knowing chair one question, he asked, "Who is the Joker?" The chair told him that there never was just one Joker, but 3.
Holy cow.
And it blew everyone's minds. Number 9. The Joker once removed his own face, and then just to staple it back on again.
Yeah.
He changed his mind.
I remember.
That's a creepy pop. It's out there.
Oh, I know.
The stapled face.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
It's from Death in the Family?
Yes.
Series? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Number 10. In Batman Endgame comic book series, the Joker lets it known that he is actually an ancient demon destined to fight Batman forever. Knowing this, Batman pins down the Joker, allowing the Batcave to collapse on them, burying them both. Wow.
I wonder how many different endings there have been for the Joker.
Probably as many.
Because we've already
people
talked
who's
about
played
it.
him.
We've already talked about at least 2 at this point.
Moving on. Number 11. Heath Ledger kept asking Christian Bale to actually brutally beat him up in their scenes. Just to...
Heath Ledger was all about the reality and the method, so...
Yeah. Moving on, number 12. Raven's abilities do not work on the Joker.
Interesting. I wonder why.
Maybe he has no solid mind to
Oh, that makes sense.
take hold of, like it's always changing. And I can never pronounce this Superman villain correctly. He actually showed up on an episode of The Flash in season 3, I think.
Really?
Joker once tricked Mr. Miztick.
I have no idea.
MXYZPTLK. If you know how to pronounce it, please tweet us.
Mixipitipapa.
Yeah. To give him universe-altering abilities.
Mezpitilk.
Mizpatilk. Sure, we'll go with that. And when he got those universe-altering abilities, he actually altered the timeline, making himself immortal.
Of course.
14. In Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum story arc, it is revealed that he has what is called super sanity. This mental state of mind means that the villain doesn't have any real personality. He adapts his personality to whatever situation he is in. His brain cannot perceive the sensory stimuli that are coming at him in the outside world. So basically, he goes with the flow.
That makes sense.
Yes. And final fact, 15. Before Harley Quinn came along, his first sidekick was a little clown named Gagsworth A. Gagsworthy, or Gaggy for short. He was a tightrope walker with the Flying Graysons.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah. He was a short, fat little clown. So, those are your unknown Funhouse facts. on the Clown Prince of Crime. So, any final thoughts on the Joker?
Not really, man. I think we've covered it all. Love the Joker. I would certainly agree that he's one of the greatest villains of all time, one of the most iconic, most recognizable. And most versions are just as entertaining as the others.
Exactly. And now, moving from Joaquin, I cannot wait to see what version we get next. Maybe
I can't even imagine.
The next thing we see is actually Mark Hamill in live action.
That would really be something.
That'd be wild. And
he's very physical when he does voice acting.
If you get a chance, after listening to this, go to YouTube and YouTube Mark Hamill in the booth doing the Joker. He's this physical genius. Yeah. Like, you can see that he puts in more than just his voice.
He
puts his
all
soul
out.
into it. So, top 5 Jokers in your opinion?
Oh man. Okay, I think I'll say, like, for me personally.
Yeah, for you personally.
Okay, so I'm gonna say number 1 would be Heath Ledger.
Okay.
I'm gonna say number 2 would be Mark Hamill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say number 3 would be Joaquin Phoenix. And that could change. He could move up because I've only seen it one time.
Mm-hmm.
But, wow.
Cautious.
Blown away. Let's say 4, Jack Nicholson. 5, Cesar Romero.
Okay. I would have to say 1 for me is Hamill. 2 for me is Ledger.
Yeah.
3 is definitely Joaquin.
Yeah.
Top 3. 4, I would have to say Monahan. And 5, Troy Baker.
Yeah, I can't include Monahan. I mean, he was great, but Gotham for me is just so blah.
I know.
So I don't even want to think about it.
So
and plus the fact that they could never say Joker, which is crazy.
That was upsetting.
I understand, but still, ugh.
Is there a Jeremiah here? Just call me Jay.
Yeah. Nice little way around there.
Yeah. So next week, we're going to be live in Market Square in Knoxville, Tennessee, talking about
exciting.
villains, literary, TV, what have you.
Pop culture.
We hope that you'll come out. If you're in the area, please come out. It's all day long, Sunday the 13th. Check out their Facebook page for more information on who all's going to be there and what all's going on at different locations.
And if you can't be there, please send us some questions about villains or some comments about villains, and maybe we will get to read your question or your comment or what have you right there live in the show.
And if you want to send us your top 5 favorite Jokers, tweet us, email us, Facebook us. If you have any other, maybe some things we missed about the Joker, some unknown facts that I may have missed. Also, thanks again to our Patreon subscribers and all of you out there in Nerdland. And, man, this has been enjoyable.
And yet another one in the books.
Another one in the books. So, I guess we will catch you soon.
Yeah. And we will see you nerds later.
Why so serious?
You've been listening to the 30 and Nerdy Podcast with your hosts, Tyler McDaniel and Josh Davis. Brought to you by Encore Theatrical Company, Akita Express, Creative Theater, and Advertising Expressions. Find us, follow us, and like us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Visit our website, 30andnerdypodcast.com. Got something to tell us? Drop us an email, 30andnerdypod@gmail.com. Until next time, cheers to you, nerds!